Hello, welcome to Beau Hannam Guitars and Ukuleles. So I have a ukulele fingerboard with a staffer style end, and I also have an electric guitar fingerboard. And I'm going to bind these. I've got to add Purfling to this one, but this one already has it. But I'm going to use a new machine. I'm not sure. Contraption? I'm not quite sure of the technical definition of a machine. If it has to be motorized or not. Because you don't really call a bicycle a machine. And this would be more of a bicycle. To, say, a big sander that would be a motorcycle. And you will understand what I'm talking about in a second. So I'm going to start with this one just because it's easier. And I'm going to have to put some purple Purfling on the edges. Well, all around. This is the little end part which I'll be doing first. So So I'm just going to super glue this to this, just because it's quick. Not so quick when you can't find the super glue. And then I'm going to move on quickly to the rest. This is a Rocklight fingerboard and Rocklight bindings. And I'm about to use for the first time my new contraption. So I'm excited about this. It's a pretty nice piece of kit. What I'm going to show you is actually for the framing industry, so picture framing. So that purple Purfling is kind of pretty flush to the bottom. It's not, doesn't go all the way up to the top, but it doesn't matter because the binding is too high anyway, so you can kind of, you have to cut that down about like 1/8 of an inch. But first, the big reveal in a second. It's got these blocks 220, 320. Just going to clear up this little bit of CA glue. If I'd thought ahead, I would have just used Type Bond or epoxy, but I did not think ahead because it didn't matter. So, to get this mitered here, I'll have to put about a 45. I'll call it 45 even though it's not. This isn't actually at a right angle because it tapers slowly, but it's so close it doesn't matter. But here we go. My amazing new machine, which is probably gonna not look so amazing from the top. It's my Precision Sander Elite by Logan, model F200-2. And this is it's freaking heavy. This is a hand cranked, really precision wheel. I don't know how much this weighs, but I think that's like solid metal there. And then it's lined with probably 80 grit, possibly 100, I'm not sure. But it's really, really well made. And so these I didn't actually. So this is for picture framing. These are for 45s because all pictures are pretty much 45 degrees. And you can fine tune this angle to get a perfect 45 just with this little grub screw. I don't know how close it is. 1 second. Stop this thing. That's kind of a tiny bit off. Actually, but I'm not going to worry about it. So I have to sand this down this way. So normally you can only sand on this side of a disc because they always go that direction. But you know, I can crank this in any direction, which is it's like just perfect. So I'll just clean off this little hairy bit. So I'll just zoom in. So I'll just mark this purple edge right on the corner of this black edge here. That looks good. And then I'll sand down to this line. I won't bother moving this. I can move this over, I'll show. So you can do, you know, whatever side you want. Well, I might as well do it now, I've done it. So we just sand down to that line. So just checking, getting close. And this really cuts down, well, it really creates no dust that, you know, gets into the air. So I'm very happy with that, because because I'm sick of dealing with dust. And this is much more precise than, well, maybe not as, maybe it's not more precise, but I think it's easier to get a much cleaner result by sanding this way. What I used to try and do was have a dog leg and, you know, sand it with a block like this, and it just wasn't fun. So this is going to be the way it's done from now on for sure. And that's looking good. And then from there I will clamp or glue on the purflings first, and then actually no, I'll pre-glue these to the bindings and then just do the same thing to the bindings, but I'll use tight bond to glue to this area. If you use CA glue, they can get into the fret slots and that sort of thing. But that was just a bit of a bonus segment. What I really wanted to do was, this is pre-purflinged, so I will now hit this up. And to do this, what I'm going to do is do this side first, and then that little one, and then join the big ones. So when you cut ebony, it's tends to crumble, or can crumble. Hence the sanding method is going to be much more pleasant, especially when you're honing in on something and it crumbles like a binding or something. And you don't have to use this block. Feels really weird sanding that way, like towards you. So I could go across. Maybe I will. So I got this on Facebook Marketplace for $65. I think new you can get them for about 120. Oh no, 140 I think. And I think they're worth that. And so I'm just trying to, like, I could just glue that along there like that and then just butt this next piece up against there. But then I'd have end grain here, and I don't really want end grain. So mitering's the way to go. So that's fitting perfect, and tell you that just fitting that would have taken me twice as long, 3 times as long, running back and forth to the electric sander. I'll leave this long, and I'll just guess this. So not quite enough. And perfect. So I'm trying to decide what to do with in regard to filming. And I'm just going to take this thing off because it's a bit annoying. Alright, what I'm going to do is glue this in place first. I'll just draw on the top just to make sure. I've just got to sand this edge, inner edge flat. It just it's really good when you use a new tool that you know, you use it for just a few seconds and you know you're going to use it every time you do at least this job. That's a tool well bought. I was going to use super glue for this, but I remembered that I did something on this one which I don't normally do, which is I cut into the Purfling just so I could get a bit more tang, or the little sharp bits that bite into the wood. You've got to cut those back a little bit, and the tang for when you bind a fingerboard. So hopefully I'll get like another mil or something of tang for this one. That just stops the fret ends lifting up. So what I'm going to do is brush on some Type-Bond onto that, and then I'm just going to let that dry and come on in with the other piece and fit that. But so when you brush it on, I'm not getting any excess glue in the fret slots. So that's the idea behind that. I have also used in the past black epoxy, and that is also a good method. So a bit of glue squeeze out just here. So I just dumped this paintbrush in water and just get rid of that. So this first piece will basically be the piece that I take everything else from. So just spend a bit of time positioning this and gluing it, then go spend 10 minutes working on something else. That is the start of something great. Actually, I could and will, just because I'm filming, do this next little part. So this little bit is going to be a bit tricky to sand, but I will do it. You know what I'm going to do? Instead of using that piece of metal that came with this, what I can do is just set this up against there, and then just draw a couple of rough 45 lines on there, and that's good enough. This there's one thing which I may fix, which is there's a gap here which is about 1/8 of an inch, which is a touch annoying just for these tiny little bits. So you could just use a a spare block of wood to get that gap just tiny, which would help with these little dicky things, but I rarely go this small, which is what my wife said when she met me. Stop. Now it's easier for me just to sand this angle instead of this angle. And I'm just working this down until this little edge here is flush with this line. Tiny bit more, then we're done. Okay, beautiful. Okay, so now I'm just going to glue this on, and the rest is obvious. So yeah, this sander is really cool. It's good. I recommend it, especially when you can get it for half price on Facebook Marketplace. But I will show pictures of these after the video all completed. Cheers, bye. So I just positioned this side one, then I butted this end piece up against it, and then glued it on. Good if they had black Tide Pond. I would use it a lot. So I just super glued the first inch together. Now I've just got to add glue to this area. And after this is glued, I'll probably run some CA glue down the edge. Make sure you get the very ends nice and tight. just a bit of wax paper. I find it a good way to